Ah, the central bankers of the world. Those mysterious figures who hold the keys to our financial destinies. What happened when they start losing confidence? The days of yore, when central bankers were hailed as the superheroes of the financial universe, able to steer economies with a mere flick of their monetary wands. But now, it seems their capes have become a bit threadbare, and their powers of prediction have taken an extended vacation to Bermuda. These esteemed figures always find themselves in a never-ending game of economic Jenga. Join us as we venture into the turbulent world of central banking, where confidence is fleeting, forecasts are about as accurate as a broken compass, and the only certainty is a healthy dose of cynical humor. Brace yourselves for one of the greatest tragicomedy the financial world has ever witnessed. The central bankers, those brilliant minds behind our economic woes, are now resorting to Plan B, or as I like to call it, the blame game. Apparently, they've realized that their grand inflation experiment has gone haywire, and instead of owning up to it, they've decided to point fingers and shift the blame onto us, the unsuspecting victims. Recently, the mighty chief economist of the Bank of England, Hugh Pill, mustered the audacity to utter what they've all been thinking behind closed doors. In a moment of candid honesty, he basically said to his fellow countrymen, "Stop whining about your shrinking wallets. Embrace your poverty and be grateful for it. And by the way, forget about those pesky pay raises and dreams of affordable prices." Yes, the classic strategy of blaming the very people who suffer the consequences of their misguided policies. It's like a magician blaming the audience for not appreciating his disappearing act while their wallets vanish into thin air. So here we are, caught in the crossfire of their incompetence, watching as they pit us against each other in a battle of survival. While they sit comfortably in their ivory towers, we're left to navigate the treacherous waters of rising prices and stagnant incomes. But fear not, for amidst this cynical chaos, we shall find humor. After all, what's funnier than being told to accept our poverty while they sip champagne and count their millions? So, let us raise our voices, not just in protest but in laughter, because sometimes humor is the only remedy for the absurdity of it all. Moreover, the fascinating global phenomenon of inflation has affected everyone. Worldwide, we've witnessed double-digit inflation rates, and in some regions, grocery prices have surged by an astounding 19% year-on-year. So if you don't get that much needed raise, don't worry, you can always skip a meal or two. Who needs sustenance when you can survive on dreams and an empty stomach? According to a poll from an insurer, a whopping 57% of small businesses are at the mercy of rising prices, teetering on the brink of closure. So it's time to bid farewell to your family business and join the ranks of the unemployed, all so that we, the mighty central bankers, can continue our grand thieving expedition. Oh, and guess what? The geniuses in charge even have a fancy name for this whole scapegoating extravaganza. Greedflation. Yes, you heard it right. They want you to believe that double-digit inflation has absolutely nothing to do with them printing trillions of pounds and dollars, tossing them around like confetti at a wild party. It's just a remarkable coincidence that 1 in 4 pounds and nearly 1 in 3 dollars came into existence in the past 3 years. So let's raise our imaginary glasses to the central bankers, the masters of deception and the architects of our financial roller coaster. They print money like there's no tomorrow, while we struggle to make ends meet. Apparently, according to their, so enlightened minds, inflation has nothing to do with their money printing shenanigans. No, it's all because the people have suddenly transformed into greedy creatures, like some bizarre Jekyll and Hyde scenario. They were perfectly content before, but now they've turned into insatiable money grabbers. How dare they? But there's more brilliance to this greedflation narrative. It not only absolves the central banks of any blame for their institutionalized pillaging, but it also cunningly sets the masses against each other. While we're busy pointing fingers and bickering, the elite quietly siphons off their ill-gotten gains with the help of the central banks. It's a true masterstroke, really. And let's not forget the European Central Bank, who recently took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to ask the thought-provoking question, what really drives inflation, profits, or wages? Oh, how they relish in their twisted game of misinformation. They want us to believe that our measly wages and desire for a decent living are the culprits, while they swim in pools of profits like Scrooge McDuck. So, let's give a round of applause to the bankers, the puppeteers pulling the strings of our economic circus. They blame the people, distract us with their narrative of greed, and continue their thievery right under our noses. But fear not, my friends, for in the midst of their cynicism, we shall find solace in our shared laughter. After all, what's more amusing than being blamed for the mess they've created? Ah, the delightful game of blame, the other half. A favorite pastime of our dear politicians. Is it the greedy right-wing capitalists? Or perhaps the greedy left-wing unions? They play this cunning game because, you see, if they can get us bickering and pointing fingers at each other, the true culprits, the bankers and bureaucrats who caused the mess, slip away unnoticed. They can continue their merry dance of siphoning away our life savings and future prospects, while we're too busy duking it out. It's truly remarkable, isn't it? They want us to believe that Americans, Britons, Europeans, and probably even Martians are at each other's throats. But deep down, perhaps we all secretly agree that the system is broken, that we're just pawns in their grand chess game. Yet, the elite does everything in their power to set us against one another. Divide and conquer, they say. This masterful division of the masses has been going on for ages. It started way back when the Federal Reserve was established, or maybe even before that. Western governments transformed from responsible custodians, fixing potholes and dredging ports, to become existential political footballs, skillfully wielded by the elite against us mere mortals. While we argue and fight, they luxuriate in their ivory towers, laughing all the way to the bank. But fear not, my fellow pawns, for in our shared cynicism, we shall find unity. Together, we can see through their manipulative games and demand a system that serves the common good, not the elite's selfish interests. So let us rise above their tricks and forge a path toward a brighter future, one where we reclaim our power and show them that we are no longer fooled by their cynical antics. The familiar playbook of the elite was executed flawlessly during the last financial crisis. And where do we fit into this grand spectacle? Well, we're expected to tighten our belts, make do less, and engage in heated battles with our neighbors, while the elite continues to rob us and our children blind. Such a charming arrangement, isn't it? The driving force behind this inflation extravaganza, none other than good old government greed, manifested in trillions of dollars, magically printed to buy votes and bribe us into accepting oppressive lockdowns. When inflation inevitably hit hard, the central bankers, those supposed saviors of the economy, responded by raising interest rates, crushing the private sector, and leaving the path clear for historic deficits that drain the rest of us dry. We lose our jobs while the government keeps spending, doling out favors to their buddies and rewarding their generous sponsors. The solution, my friends, is deceptively simple. So simple, in fact, that it will never happen. Shrink the government, eliminate deficits, and bid farewell to the bureaucrats and regulators who stifle job creation, innovation, and the endangered species known as small businesses. The central banks could solve this predicament tomorrow if they had the courage. They could stand tall and declare no more financing trillion-dollar deficits, no more crushing the people to make ends meet. But alas, that's as likely to happen as pigs sprouting wings and flying to the moon. It won't occur until the voters demand it, fueled by their anger or desperation. One might dare to hope that the voters will rise in fury before they have nothing left to lose. After all, there's a certain charm in witnessing the powerful tremble in the face of an angry mob. But until then, let's grab our popcorn and watch as the circus of greed and deceit continues to unfold before our very eyes.